Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today for a quick thought from that amazing book, the Bible. Now, I wonder if I were to ask you a question, how you'd answer. Have you ever found yourself tempted to do something that you know deep down inside you that you should not do? I'm pretty sure the answer would be a resounding yes from all of us. We've all been there, right? Whatever it may be, whatever that temptation looks like for us, be it looking at something that we know isn't very healthy for us, that leads us down a bad path, or the temptation to try and do everything in our own strength. I'd never be guilty of that one, of course. Looking at that delicious bar of chocolate when you're really not very hungry and you're trying hard to eat more healthily, but feeling a little bit sad that day. Temptation comes in many, many different forms in this world. And it's interesting to me that it's something that Jesus deals with in this model of prayer that he gives to his disciples. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Now, Jesus knew all about temptation. So I think sometimes when we think about Jesus as a person here on earth, we either think about like tiny baby Jesus all swaddled and nestled sweetly in a manger with the sheep and donkeys standing by. Or we might think about the 30-something-year-old Jesus walking the streets and performing miracles and maybe dying on a cross. But do we ever stop to consider Jesus growing up? See, Jesus was a teenager. He was a teenage boy, and I can assure you that he faced temptation. And we know about a time of particularly intense tempting that Jesus went through because the Bible tells us about it in Matthew chapter 4. It says, "Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil." It's probably one of those passages in the Bible that has the greatest understatement of all time. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, Jesus was hungry. You don't say. The devil comes along to Jesus in that place, in that state, and he offers food to the starving Jesus, and he promises Jesus fame and wealth. He tells him to throw himself off the top of the temple, to have angels rescue him. Temptation in many different forms. And Jesus resists it all, referring back time and time again to the almighty word of God. And that is a whole other topic. But today I'm curious about the words in that passage that say that Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted. That can bring us to that question. Does God tempt us? Now that passage says that it was the devil who tempted Jesus, but it was God who put him in that place. Does God put us in positions where we're going to face some really tough temptations that could ultimately lead us away from him? Why would he do that? Why do we need to pray, lead us not into temptation? Why isn't that the default position? Well, it's important at this point to clarify that God himself will never tempt you. That is made explicitly clear in the Bible. In James chapter 1, it says, when tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me. For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. But each person, you and me, is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed. See, God's not whispering in your ear, why don't you give that a go? Why don't you give that a try? Let's see if you can resist it if I give it to you right here. He's not setting a trap for us. He's just to see if we'll fall into it. He doesn't want to see us fail. He's on our side. He is for us. God is not a bully. He's not a manipulator. He's not putting that giant slice of cake in front of us when we're trying to diet just to see how strong our resolve is. That is not who God is. He is a loving Father. But he may well lead us to a place where we face temptation. And that is a really important distinction. If he brings you to a place of worldly success, for example, a place where you suddenly have plenty of material wealth, then you are going to be tempted in that place. You'll be tempted in how you're going to live, in how you're going to give, in whether your trust is going to be in God or in the wealth that you have accumulated. If God puts you in a position of leadership, you'll face temptation in how to treat the people working for you. If God puts you in a position of influence in the world, then you'll be tempted as to whether you're willing to risk it all to stand for injustice. Temptation is common, and it comes in many, many different ways, from the massive to the tiny, and it comes from multiple sources. From the evil one, as the Lord's Prayer suggests, from the devil who tempted Jesus in the wilderness, and from our own evil desires, as that passage in James tells us. Wherever we go, whatever we do, we will face temptation. So then why pray for God not to lead us into it if it's going to happen anyway? Well, that's the really exciting part of this message. See, 1 Corinthians chapter 10 tells us that no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, and you will be, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure. I love this verse. God will never, ever allow you to be tempted beyond what you can bear. And it may not feel like it sometimes, but it is true. And that means that sin holds no power over you. And it means that the evil one holds no power over you. And it means that the evil desires inside you and the darkness of this world hold no power over you. That is good news. You always have a choice when it comes to the temptation that you face, in that moment, God will provide a way out for you. If you'll give me leave to paraphrase that line a little bit, maybe that prayer could read, lead us not into temptation, but when we are tempted, lead us through it. Bring us to the other side. Just as the New Living Translation puts it, don't let us yield to temptation. Show us the way out, Lord. Let us believe all the more in your power in us, which is more than enough to conquer any temptation, any evil. Give us strength to endure in our areas of weakness. That is a powerful prayer. And you know what? If we never faced a moment of temptation in our lives, if we walked through this earth and nothing ever attracted our attention, we wouldn't learn what a faithful God he is in the midst of our mess. We'd never see those moments, those miraculous moments where he makes a way for us to resist. We would never know firsthand that his faithfulness for us, his love for us is greater, so much greater than any promised pleasure that the world may hold. What a great addition this is to our daily prayers. This day, I know I'm going to face temptation. But God, I am waiting for you. I am ready for you to show me the way out. I know you won't lead me into temptation that is too great for me to turn away from. I thank you for your faithfulness that lets me endure. Thank you so much for joining me for that thought from the Bible today. I'll be back on Wednesday next week with another video, the final video in this extended series, digging into the Lord's Prayer and what it means for us, for our prayer lives, right here and right now today. So I will see you then.